Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz. I am your host, Nick Athan, along with my producer extraordinaire, Mr. Hense Todd, with Bowtie Sports. And we are coming to you today. We're going to talk about Super Bowl 58. What does number 58 represent? The great Derek Thomas. Just thought I'd throw that. There's a little positive karma. And some positive karma that we need to throw out first before we start the show is our first sponsor, and that would be Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your real estate advisor. He's a huge Chiefs fan. He's one of my best friends. He's currently my realtor, helping me and Miss Chiefs Blitz find a house for our family. He has been patient. He has put in a lot of time. He's also working with Hense and his family as well to find a house. So listen, bottom line is this: when you're looking to sell a house or buy a house, you have to have somebody who you can trust, somebody who has experience, and somebody that's going to take your hand and give you the ups and the downs and the positives and the negatives when you make a decision as big as this. Investing in a house is big time money. It's a big time event in your family. You want somebody who can walk you through the entire process. And that is Mr. Eric Haynes, 816-729-3785, or email him at esaleskc@gmail.com. Also proud sponsor of
the Chiefs Who.
The Chiefs Who. All right.
Welcome in, guys.
With that, we bring in the other senior member, Mr. Lou Montagna, and Coach Andre Tillman. Guys, we talked a little bit last night. Feels pretty damn good today, too. I guess today is redemption day for the Chiefs. The CBS guys, the ESPN guys, the NFL Network guys, Colin Cowherd, all these pundits, nobody's going to beat the Ravens. They're too good a team. The Chiefs aren't going to go in there and do it. And the Chiefs put in a masterful performance. The score was only 17-10, but it might as well have been 11-10 because that's the way the game ended. The Chiefs win. They advance to the Super Bowl. We now know it's not the Detroit Lions. So my Super Bowl pick is down in the tubes, thanks to Dan Campbell and some very poor decisions midway through the third quarter that just snowballed, and it was a tremendous comeback by the 49ers. So it will be the Chiefs and the 49ers, a repeat of Super Bowl 54, which is where all this began, guys. The first one for Patrick Mahomes, the first one for Andy Reid, the beginning of what we thought was possible, the end of the 50-year drought of which Lou and I suffered painlessly year after year after year going through. And here we are again. Sir Patrick Mahomes has become the greatest player in the NFL today, one of the greatest players of all time. Whether he catches Brady or not is irrelevant. He is Tiger Woods. He is Michael Jordan. And we've got Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. And I'm telling you guys, enjoy the ride for as long as it lasts, because you just never know. And Patrick said that yesterday. I thought his postgame comments were so astute. I'm not taking anything for granted. And neither am I. I'm going to enjoy the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to sit back and relax and watch all the doubters, and the Chiefs will win back-to-back Super Bowls and be America's team, the most loved and the most hated. And you know what? I love it, because all that matters is Super Bowl. That's it. Titles. Yep. That's it. That's what we now have in Kansas City. It feels great.
And it feels great. You know what I mean? Even though before the show, we heard people getting chewed out for their takes. Before they takes, they put out there that, it's a coincidence. Could it be Taylor Swift? Could it be money involved? Could it be this? Could it be that? And somebody's wife, Beyonce, came down there in the middle of the takes and chewed them out. Hey, it could be Taylor Swift. It could be the color scheme. It could be the Cass brothers. It could be everybody. You know what I mean? It could be Bobo and Toto, whoever that is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You have number 15, and his time is now So what you had to say about that, Coach Dre?
Well, first of all, I don't know what that man's talking about over here. I think the headphones too tight. So we gonna break the news like this, man. Again, I wanted to see Lamar get it, and I didn't. And I told everybody on the show that I didn't know who to go for. I like both. But to me, man, Mahomes remind me of Joe Montana, man. He was so strategic out there. I'm like, the ball was moving around, and Kelsey was clutch. When it's time to make a play, Kelsey was there. Was no doubt. You seen the confidence in Mahomes, man. You seen the confidence, man. It was like the aura was different. I said, yo, Mahomes is not losing. They can't stop him. They can't stop him. And I was like, bro, I was blown away, guys. I ain't gonna lie, I was blown away. It was like, because Baltimore Ravens do got the number one defense, right? But it was like when it was plays to be made, they made the plays. They was catching everything. When their number was called, they was catching. They stepped up, right?
Yep.
So for me, it was like, I have nothing to say. Man, but good things about Mahomes and that offense, man. They played lights out, man.
Yep.
I have nothing to say about it, man. Hey, Mahomes to me reminded me of Joe Montana, man. Like, the man was so strategic, man. Ice in his veins, the aura was crazy.
What about the redemption catch, man? The redemption catch, and everybody's not talking about this morning.
The statement catch. The statement
catch that, led the Chiefs all the way back, to the Super Bowl. Got us all the way back here, again, facing off the 49ers. And a lot of people said they ain't going to watch the Super Bowl because, it's the Kansas City Chiefs and 49ers. They tired of seeing these two teams at the top. But a lot of people ain't talking about this morning. It's the redeemed catch.
Yep.
It's redeemed.
That's nice.
It's a redeemed catch that this guy came out here and did. It was first, it was a drop. Then he redeemed
do you see the level of difficulty in the last this catch? Now it's like you would have dropped this one. But
so is it going to be
in your hand?
Hold on. Go ahead, Lou.
It just looked like, was he going to pick it off or was he going to catch it?
Yeah, we can't tell. I thought that was the defensive back for another team at first.
I did too.
That's MVS, man. It's redemption catch.
That's great.
It sounds like this national media, I think, is starting to catch up. We were talking a little bit before we started about how, we watch every Chiefs game. We kind of dissect every game, watch it, rewatch it, talk about it. But I think a lot of guys go off of the narratives and kind of what was happening earlier in the year. Well, they're not as good offensively as they used to be. They don't play the way they used to. Well, I think what we've noticed, and I think we were talking about it, well ahead of the pack, is this team was slowly morphing into a different type of team. This team is actually morphed into a little bit of a bully and really playing into both lines of scrimmage, where in the past it seemed like we had this fast break offense that can score in seconds, and the defense was always back out on the field and playing, down after down, snap after snap. Well, right now, Patrick, as you said, Nick was saying it after the game, is where he's not concerned with huge numbers. He knows that he's got a defense behind him that can get it done. And like Dre said, in terms of being a surgeon, that first half, I mean, it was flawless. Every single pass was on point. He had an answer for every defense they were throwing at him. And of course, the closer, like we all knew it was going to be, was MVS. So
who would have known?
Who
would have known, man? It would have known.
But you got to think about what Drew Tranquillo said after the game. He said, we went to go bully the bully. Yeah. He said, we bullied the bully. You know what I mean? He said, we came into their house and bullied the bully. It doesn't matter who they thrown out there. It doesn't matter if they didn't run the ball. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs set the tone before the game. They set the tone. When they set the tone? When I said last night, when everybody else, the man that don't go out there do no tackling, all he got to do is stretch his legs and kick a field goal, went to go poke the bear to see was he really dead, to see was that. If you didn't learn the lesson from the crack helmet, that's the ultimate playoff picture right there. That's the ultimate playoff picture.
Yeah,
the crack helmet.
That's it. My favorite picture.
If you didn't learn the lesson from the cracked helmet, the bear was already awoke. So you go over there he went over there poking the bear, trying to kick in front of them, in front of their routes and do all this nonsense. And that moment right there have awoken the lion, and the lion struck.
I'm gonna
When
tell
he
you
struck, you was limping the whole game, and there was no more coming back from after there. Like he said, they went in the house and they bullied the bully, and the bully finally got punched in the mouth.
I'm gonna tell you why Mahomes is great, guys. Mahomes remind me of Jordan. Jordan, remember how great Jordan was. He was looking for something little to get him going. I don't care how you look, you brush your teeth today, your breath stink, you was in my way. I don't care what it was. He said, I gotta find something to motivate me. That's Mahomes. Mahomes looking to be called an underdog. He wants the underdog. He's like, somebody calling me out. He's looking for that itch, and he found it. That's how Jordan is. That's how Tom Brady is. They're looking for an itch to scratch, right? So looking at Mahomes, man, yes, now in back of his head, everybody's against Mahomes. He's the underdog.
How about a new narrative? Patrick Mahomes undefeated on the road in the playoffs.
That's another.
Few weeks ago, he couldn't. He's never been on the road. He's never. Now he's undefeated. So let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, now they're facing the 49ers. And shout out to the graphic guy, Jake. Man, you the best, man. Thank you for letting me know doing what you do. You know what I mean?
Give him his props. What's his last name? Come on.
Look at this graphic, man. Hey, it doesn't matter, man.
Where's Purdy at, man? Where's Purdy?
Purdy don't get no love because only one Purdy get love on this shirt is Dave Purdy. Okay, sir. That's the only person who gets love.
Shots fired, San Francisco. Shots fired.
So with that said, sir, looking at this game, it's gonna be a bigger matchup. It's just a revenge game for the 49ers. Or just Patrick Mahomes going to go take down all his doubters and said he only won his Super Bowl by luck because he had all the talent around him. Now he's going back to his Super Bowl. Just going back to that first Super Bowl, and it's a rematch, guys. And guess what stadium is in? Arrowhead West, where they buried a flag under the stadium and built the stadium over that flag. And ever since then, the Raiders haven't beat the Chiefs in that stadium.
Well, truth be told, the rumor is that flag was dug up and it was removed, but we'll see. I'm sure more will come out this week as they head to Arrowhead West in Las Vegas. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is undefeated there, beating the Raiders 5 times. Hey, the Chiefs are going to a familiar place. I love it that they're using the Raiders practice facility, training facility, I think it's in Henderson, which is a little ways outside of Vegas. Andy likes to be kind of away from the fray and away from the main city at Super Bowls. But, you talk about Mahomes, and again, all the doubters this morning, even Dan Orlovsky saying he's the best quarterback I've ever seen. Ryan Clark, same thing. Even Loudmouth Smith kind of said the same thing. Colin Cowherd. And I think, like I said earlier, and we said this last night, he's one of a kind. He's the one, when you talk NFL football, 10 years from now, 15 years, 20 years from now, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be the first, second, or maybe third top player that you talk about in the National Football League. I mean, of all time. He's already what he has done he's not finished with his 6th season because they got one more game to go. But after he wins this Super Bowl, he's going to have 3 titles in 6 years. He's 28 years of age. He has already shattered all these records. And when he wins this game, he'll just be chasing Tom Brady. And it's just remarkable to me that this franchise convinced the Buffalo Bills to take virtually nothing to move up 19 spots, and for Andy Reid to be able to get rid of Alex Smith after year 1 after drafting Mahomes and put all that pressure on him and say, hey, kid, you're going to end the 50-year drought. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me, but for what Mahomes has done over and over and over again, and he has had to evolve and change. He's not the same quarterback he was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes,
the one thing about Tom Brady that nobody talks about, and it's even more remarkable, is Tom never changed. He was the same quarterback. He took shots down the field. He managed the game. He had good receivers. He was clutch in the big moments. It didn't bother him. But his game was exactly the same. Same when he was in Tampa Bay. He played the same style. Mahomes has had to completely change his offense now 3 times. He's got 3 different rosters in the Super Bowl, in the 3 Super Bowls that he's going to appear in, or the 4. And it's remarkable that he's been able to do this. So again, he is the Michael Jordan. Bill Russell to me is my favorite NBA player. I will always say he's the best.
Absolutely.
But Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT. But the best player I've ever seen play football in this time frame, in this 6 years, to go from start to finish, it's Patrick Mahomes. And if he plays another 6 years and gets 5 or 6, 7 Super Bowls, and we're going to look back at this and go, we watched it. We were all alive when this happened. I'm still hanging on to my idol, Lenny Dawson. He will always be number 1 in my heart. But for this new generation of Chiefs fans that never experienced all that pain and suffering, this is just the greatest time to be a Chiefs fan that you're ever going to have in your entire life.
And he went to the gauntlet.
Who cares?
He got everybody's right there. Everybody got the same face. Everybody got the same face. Everybody have the same face that they all face when they face Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. They all be on that bench looking sad, looking terrible. It doesn't matter. I know Lou gonna say the guy from Mizzou is giving Patrick Mahomes some love. We already know.
The distinguished gentleman, yes.
The thing is, man, hey, wake up, guys. If you're from Kansas City, it's not a fluke, Coach Dre. It's not a money scheme, Coach Dre. It's just a man.
You continue to throw shots, sir. You want. Okay, we keep poking at the Bears, sir. I've been letting you slide, letting you have, but no, honestly though, Mahomes is him. I have nothing to say about Mahomes. The only thing I wanted Mahomes to do is utilize, take what the defense give you. Now he's been doing that, man. He checked the ball down. Now the ball's been checking down. He's making the right reads. He's not forcing no throws, bow tie. He's not forcing the throws, man. It's just amazing. It's just amazing how mature Mahomes has grown. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for Mahomes, man. And he's still young.
I'm not gonna give him all the love because it's one guy that's if it weren't for this one guy that they coach with his hands on his knees and with the one little square paper in front of him, and that's Spags. If it weren't for Spags, I say the Chiefs won't be here. Won't be here in the play. I mean, won't be in the playoffs at all. If you really look at it, this guy, he came out, he coaching his butt off. He's still doing what he need to do. Like I said, the guy would coach with his hands on his knees and a little paper clip, a little thing in the front, is taking the defense to another level. And that's making the Chiefs hard to beat. Ain't a clue what Coach Dre said, that Patrick Mahomes is actually checking down the ball, not forcing the ball to Kelsey, anything like that. But on top of that, including this defense, what you guys say about that, Lou?
Wow, like I said, I mean, the defense is, again, from a national perspective, now starting to get the respect because they're going on the road and kind of shutting these teams down. I think that's like the ultimate respect of going into the number 1 offense and Lamar Jackson and everything else they had rolling, and they completely shut them down. They gave up maybe 2 big plays. That was it. And the rest of it, they were like completely befuddled. You also got to give a lot of credit to Brett Veach for putting this team together, the young players that he drafted. I mean, we said this before the show, is that the best investment he made before this season, and it wasn't a lot of money, was to one number 23 and Drew Tranquil.
Right.
Number 90.
This guy,
right.
every opportunity he's gotten, whether he was starting for Bolton and being the green dot, right? I mean, he took over and it was like seamless. And they may actually played even a little bit better. But again, I'm not going to mince, kind of split hairs here. They're really good. You mentioned Mike Edwards, another, veteran ad, Charles Omenihu, huge play yesterday. Hopefully he's okay and be ready to play for the Super Bowl. And then just the veterans, and again, the young guys, every single one of them has stepped up. Leo, Furious George, Cuffs, Joshua, Jalen Watson, every time, Shamari Connor, and he's just a rookie. Okay. And it just, that sets the culture. So last year when we were saying that we're actually a year ahead of pace to get and win a Super Bowl because these guys were so young, that experience is invaluable. You see, they are completely different players right now. T. Cuffs is an all-pro, damn it. Snead should have been an all-pro. Every one of these guys has elevated their game, and Spags kind of orchestrates it and uses these chess pieces perfectly. So that's what should give every Chiefs fan confidence that no matter who they're playing, they're going to have the upper hand on that side of the ball. And then you've got the assassin on offense. So, I don't want to say it's a wrap, but they're playing at a level now that we didn't look like we were going to reach 8 weeks ago. Right?
It was still brewing. It was still brewing. It was still brewing. It was still brewing. There you go.
You had to turn it, like watering plants in my grandma's house. You had to put the plants in the right sunlight where you won't get burned.
That's right.
They put the flag in the right. Now, can I ask this question before you say something? Okay. Now, I know L'Jarius Sneed is in his contract year, right? But looking at that, is it a thing that, because I'm hearing somebody they tweeted out that it could be he didn't make the Pro Bowl because it's his contract year, and that's gonna boost his level of his contract talks. So somebody probably holding him back from making a Pro Bowl. I don't know how much of that is true. What'd you say?
Pro Bowl? No, just so we're clear, the Pro Bowl vote is a third fans, a third players, and they generally are a season behind. So they don't really look what you've done this year. They look at what you did the year before. The other three, I think the other third is coaches. There's no conspiracy theory here. L'Jarius Sneed is a guy who is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, but Jalen Ramsey's more popular. And it's just that simple. It doesn't really boil down to anything different than a popularity contest. Now, the AP vote and the all-pro votes, that's a little different. He didn't get the love, but it has nothing to do with his contract. Listen, if the Chiefs want him, it's going to cost probably, I think we went over the cornerback numbers, probably somewhere in the 95 to 100 million range, with a guarantee probably in the 40s to 50 million. Get him locked up for 4 years. We'll see what happens. But I want to touch back. I'm going to go back just on one thing real quick and make my point. Before the season, if you'd have told me that Deion Bush, Charles Omenihu, Mike Dana, Shamari Connor, Tershawn Thornton, and Mike Edwards would be playing on your roster and contributing to a Super Bowl defense, I would say a lot of people didn't know of half those guys. And here we are. Spags is a genius. What he's done is incredible.
Secondary coach.
God, D Ford was offsides, and Bob Sutton got fired because we got Spags. Our Super Bowl humiliating loss to the Patriots was the primary reason that Andy Reid went out and called Steve and said, listen, he didn't even give an option. He said, you're coming to coach the defense. We're going to pay you a whole bunch of money. He goes, I don't want to coach anymore. He goes, yes, you do. We're picking you up on a private plane. We're bringing you to Kansas City. You're going to be the defensive coordinator. And he told him no. And he spent 2 years kind of just, kind of figuring it all out. Yeah. And then not this past training camp, but the one before they won Super Bowl 57, Andy Reid said to Spags, quit looking at the depth chart, play the best players. And what happened? He played all the kids. And what did the kids do in the second half of the season, the postseason a year ago? They played great. Look at this year. He keeps playing the kids. Shamari Connor, he was one of the saviors in the Bills game, regardless if he didn't pick up the ball or fall on it like he should have. And in this game, he was flying all over the field. Now, he wasn't Hamilton-esque, and that was a brilliant performance by the Ravens safety Hamilton. He's an amazing football player.
Yeah, he is. Hey, shout out to Hamilton, man.
But you just look at the decisions that were made. Yeah,
He
and
was that
and
guy.
and Andy's kind of tried to do some of the similar things with offense, but the defense was always going to be the key. And those two guys, old wily veterans, both opinionated, both have their own ideas. They blended together and said, you know what? Screw it. Best guys are going to play. Now, it should always be that way, regardless of age or regardless of anything else. But that's why this team is going back-to-back Super Bowls. The defense came alive in the second half last year and in the postseason. And, they're doing it this time without Cook. Cook was a huge piece last year. He was a huge piece at the beginning of the season. And Mike Edwards comes in and says, I got this, don't worry. Deion Bush comes in, makes 3 plays and plays 3 snaps and gets an interception in the end zone. Guys, that's by design. That's by being prepared. That's by having a defensive coordinator that has the free reign to do what he thinks is best for this football team and the trust in his head coach. But the players will love him. Look at the shirt that they made for him. And Justin Reed is going to be selling those online, and we're going to help promote it and do what we can for the charity involved. But they love the guy. And when you have that love and respect from your players, what'll they do? They'll be in the weight room. They'll be getting physical therapy. They'll get over the bumps and bruises, and they'll play hard. And we're so lucky that we have that combination now. So I know he's going to come back next year. After that, we'll see. But I just don't think it can be lost on the depth in which he has built this defensive roster with Brett Veach and allowed these kids to play. And you have a few veterans, you have some guys that are under the radar, and they've just blended into an incredible team. Now, I did not think they could do what they did to the Ravens. I wasn't expecting that. I thought maybe they keep them under 20 points, and that would be a pretty good chance for them to win. There's the shirt. In Spags, we trust. And, there are people after year 2 who are saying, yeah, maybe Spags has lost it. Maybe he's not quite getting it. The Chiefs didn't quite do some of the things that a lot of people thought he could do. And then he wins a Super Bowl, and then it's like all the things mesh together and you find yourself in a position where it goes, we really appreciate the coaching staff, especially on the defensive side, because they're all doing a great job. And that's all because of Spags. So he deserves all the accolades and all the credit for the reason the Chiefs are heading back to their second straight Super Bowl. That's it. I'm off that topic.
Agree.
He
put his heart out, man.
Shout out to the rest of that staff too. Dave Merritt, the DB coach, Joe Cullen, defensive line, Brendan Daly, and some of the others. I don't know the rest off the top of my head at this point, but those seem to be the guys who are really doing it. And Dave Merritt, just what he's done with those young DBs is just
it's sort of phenomenal. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, just teaching, bringing them along, giving them confidence, and they just keep getting better every game. So
with experience.
Comes
so let me ask y'all this. Would y'all start your rookies though? Like y'all offense or defense? Would y'all start your rookies? Would y'all just throw them in the fire? Like, all right, we got y'all. We put y'all in the fire.
No, that's not been Andy. But that's the crazy thing. That's not been Andy's style.
Right.
I mean, even offensively. I mean, the exception is putting Mahomes in year 2, but he does not like to play rookies. He doesn't trust him. And he was watching the defense in training camp, a year and a half ago, and it's like, man, I got some good young kids here. I mean, I'm just going to have to throw them out there. I got a one-in-a-kind quarterback, and what has he done? He makes it, these guys are making opposing quarterbacks cry. He's just taking them down one by one. Again, he's taken down the 6 best quarterbacks in the NFL the last 2 years. Lawrence, Burrow, Hurts, Allen this year, Tua, and now Jackson, and he's going to take Purdy down. So those are 7 guys that were at one point rated ahead of Patrick Mahomes, and they were better than Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes had lost a step, and Patrick Mahomes wasn't as good anymore. And it didn't matter that he was 11-3 heading into the postseason. It didn't matter that he was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. The winner of 6 consecutive under his watch AFC West titles, 6 consecutive AFC championship games. None of that mattered. Every one of those quarterbacks, this guy can take Patrick out. This guy can take Packer out. And what you saw yesterday was vintage Mahomes in the first half, and you saw Alex Smith in the second half. And because he didn't have to do anything crazy. But when he needed to make that one play at the end of the game, what does he do? He makes it. He sank a 100-foot putt to win the Masters. He got a half-court shot that banked off the rim, ran around the rim, swished to the net to win the game.
Well, tell
Hense and Jake already took Purdy down.
Man, he said hit the Masters to win the Masters. All right.
I mean, that's what you've got.
And hey, that is what you got, because a lot of people don't have it. And seeing MVS make that catch was amazing. It's like having somebody he was known to be great right in that moment. And when you need somebody to be great in that moment, what you do? You call Dave Purdy.
You call Dave Purdy. Our other corporate sponsor, Mr. Dave Purdy with Supreme. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831. Dave is one of the best people I know. I've known him a long time. He's a friend. He's also personally taking care of my mortgage along with myself, my wife, and Hense's family as well. You need somebody who understands the X's and O's and the zeros and all the things that matter when it comes to trying to find a loan that fits your budget. There's nobody better. There's no one I trust more than Mr. Dave Purdy. So give him a call at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is
Purdy good.
I love that segment. That will never get old.
He's our Purdy, not 49ers Purdy.
He's our Purdy. He's not a Brock Purdy. He's a Dave Purdy.
He's a Dave Purdy. Go ahead, guys. But as you look, as we get closer, and watching that game, as you watch that game, what was the takes that you thought that, is it too much shots on Taylor Swift? As Dre might say. Is it this? Is it that? What was your expecting that you didn't expect that the Ravens did that they should have did? And why are you looking at that game like, okay, you lost this game because you didn't stick to your game plan? Go ahead, Coach Dre.
So I'm gonna say this: running the ball, the Ravens was number one in rushing. There was no need, and how good the Chiefs defense was, guys. How much love y'all throw on
6
Spags
carries,
right?
6 carries.
They didn't run the ball. Usually they're a top running team. That's when Lamar Jackson is at his best. Y'all seen it with Buffalo. Buffalo ran the ball down their throats. It was right there. It was like, why are y'all not running the ball? That's still a head scratcher. I don't understand it. Right? I feel like this. If they were stuck to the formula, the game would have been a whole lot closer. But they didn't. Right? I guess Lamar was trying to prove a point to where I'm a throwing quarterback. I can throw the ball. And it's not his style. That's not his style.
It's a terrible game plan. It was just a terrible game plan. That's all it was to it. And both their offensive and defensive coordinator are up for the jobs in Washington and Seattle. And I'm scratching my head saying, why? In the biggest game of the year, what did they do? They ran the ball 16 times, and Lamar ran it 8. 16 times for less than 90 yards total. And they tried to make him a pocket passer because they got behind. They didn't know what to do. You know why? Because they weren't behind this year. They were not double-digit deficits. They didn't have to put the game on Lamar Jackson. In the game against the Rams, they were up 7. The Rams tied the score. Then they got ahead, and then they had to make a play, and he produced. Jackson produced. But you've got 3 running backs that can get you 100 yards per game each. Yes. A quarterback that, he didn't even do any bootlegs. Did you see a single bootleg by Lamar Jackson in that football game?
I seen that man stand in the pocket and trying to be a pocket passer, and that's not his style.
He's not him. And again, this falls on John Harbaugh. It was a terrible coaching performance and his offensive defensive coordinator. But hey, you could have done that differently. I think they should have tried to attack Mahomes after that first touchdown drive. I would have just started blitzing like crazy and just taken my chances just to see if they could get a tip pass. But they didn't. They didn't make any changes till after that second touchdown drive. And kudos to them for making that stop on 4th and 1, or else it would have been at least 17-7 or 21-7 at that point, and the game was over. The game was over. It's 14-7, but it was definitely over with 17 points. The Ravens weren't going to score that many points. It just wasn't going to happen yesterday.
Real quick, St. Clair says this. Surprised they did not run. They obviously had to have scouted the Bills game. They just believe in all the Jackson press clippings. That's basically what it was. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much on their defensive game plan. I thought their defensive game plan was fine. They just ran into a surgical quarterback and Kelsey that just raised his level of play. I mean, those were some supreme plays, and they only gave up 17. It's really the offensive side of the ball is where they just kind of abandoned everything that they wanted to do. I don't know if it was the Chiefs' defensive scheme that kind of put some ghosts in his head or what. I mean, you really can't explain it. I would love to ask him a few questions about it, see what his response was.
He didn't seem too concerned that they lost after the game, and Spags blitzed him every other play. Yeah, and that I think comes from, they were, I guess other teams were afraid to blitz Lamar, but now I think what they're seeing is blitz him on, over half the snaps and see what happens, right? That's the formula to beat Jackson is there.
But again, I think even
formula. Did I not say that the formula?
Yeah. even more importantly was I think we talked, this might have been off air, Nick, where you were talking about Chris Jones having like 0 sacks, 0 tackles, everything else.
Nothing.
I think it was Gerald McCoy before the game saying that these guys have to kind of check their egos at the door. Mm-hmm. They're going to use their rush lanes,
right?
Keep them kind of in that.
He kept
it in a well, keep them in a cup, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, somebody's going to have to kind of throw their man out and make the sack. Whereas instead of, rushing upfield, everybody kind of out for themselves trying to get a sack, where then Lamar's going to break the pocket and go on. So, the surprising thing primarily was just that the Ravens offense was so, I don't know, one-dimensional, and it wasn't even very good at what they were trying to do.
Yeah. So remember I said I watched the film at 3:00 in the morning.
I feel like
if the Chiefs defensive lineman could just wrap up a little bit better, they would have had more sacks.
But you know what? We got to get credit where credit is due. Lamar Jackson did make a tremendous play, though. Got the pocket, broke the tackle.
He made 2 big plays. I mean,
he did.
You're going to take that every day of the week because
you know what play was going to be missed in that loss is that tip pass to himself. When I seen that, I said, it brought back flashbacks of the Tennessee game.
Some of the Titans game.
I said, here we go.
I thought he was going to take it to the house. I thought
I'm about to say, oh, snap.
Well, I would have liked the look on Justin Reed's face when this swash of purple came by is because he thought he had a pick. The ball seemed like it was in the air forever.
It was,
and Reed looked like he was like red, and just comes swooping by. He's like, "What the hell was that?" And that was pretty. That was a crazy play.
That was a crazy play.
Mariota didn't have as far to go. It was like kind
of.
I
swear to God, I thought it was
in the end zone.
I thought he was gone.
But again, my wife told me that I needed to go to sleep. I had my laptop, I had the TV on, I had my phone. I was watching all their games. And I said, that offensive line, that offensive line is not that good because they run the ball.
Did you tell her what you came up with after keeping her up for like 12 hours? We got to rush the quarterback.
Hey, he said we got to rush the quarterback.
My wife was dying laughing after she seen Lou say that. She said,
I could have told you that without all that. You could have gone to bed at midnight.
It was so legendary how you said it. Y'all watching all this film just to put pressure on the quarterback. That's it. That was it.
And he doesn't make as much. He doesn't make as much money as Spags.
No. Hey, look, that's funny. But real talk, if you look at it, man, I think Lamar was trying to be like Mahomes. I think Lamar was trying to throw the ball like Mahomes, and he held on the ball too long, and there was nobody open. And it's not his style, man.
It was, Drake. The Chiefs got elite corners. They got elite corners for your second receiver, your third receiver, your tight end. They got linebackers, they got D linemen, they got skilled positions at each level of the defense.
They won this game without Willie Gay and Charles Domenahue for 3 quarters.
Hey, Spags called a heck of a game. Remember I said they gonna scheme him. They schemed Lamar. They forced that man to use his head, bro, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't get it done.
You know what it was, Drake?
That's something
you know what it was?
Different.
I was Drake. You know what it was? We played Madden. It's Mahomes and those got that touchdown. Kelsey got the X factor, so it lit up. Now the meter went all the way up.
That's what it was. That's what it was. It was that meter.
You know when the meter go all the way up on Madden, it's hard to come back. It's hard to come back.
I don't even know what language you guys are speaking right now. It might as well be Greek.
Sometimes you got to let the kids speak.
Maybe it's maybe Nick knows what they're saying. I don't know. It sounds
but going forward, these two here is going to be hard to beat. Spags, Andy Reid. I couldn't put a picture of Andy Reid, but Spags, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes on the same team is deadly. Like I said last night, that's like having Belichick, Andy Reid, and Tom Brady at throne at the head of it, and it's just. And this guy's only 28, guys. It's only 28.
Insane.
He's been ever since he started. He's been to the AFC Championship. He's been to the Super Bowl.
Facts.
Well, he missed one because of offsides. You know what I mean. But other than that, if that offsides wasn't called, he would have been to every Super Bowl since he started his career.
3 losses
that is
in the
crazy.
Playoffs. One in the Super Bowl where he had no offensive line. The other 2 in overtime. In championship games,
man. Yeah, no, you can't criticize this kid. It's amazing. We're lucky to have him. He stays humble. Kudos. I mean, this is the only time I'm ever going to say this on the show. Kudos to John Dorsey, who did nothing except execute this trade with Buffalo that allowed them to pick up Patrick Mahomes, because it was Brett Veach that was nagging to the point of no return, and the whole interesting story about getting Mahomes goes back to his time on the podcast with the Kelsey brothers, where he told the Chiefs coaches and Andy Reid, "Hey, the teams are going to move up to get me. So if you want to get up, you're probably going to need to get to probably under number 11." And that was the match made in heaven. So it got done. But again, we sit here and we in Kansas City know what we have, and the national guys, their job is to create clicks and views, and at the end of the day, they know Chiefs fans are going to bicker and banter with him every time you say something derogatory about the Chiefs. Well, get used to it, because it's going to happen for the next, I'll go 6 years, maybe 7, to where we're going to be having the same conversation every year about Patrick Mahomes. He has the opportunity to do something that's never been done before, but you know what? In my day with Len Dawson, the AFL days, it was war. This was an AFL game that we saw yesterday. I mean, there were arms out. There were tackles around the neck. There was swats at the face mask.
It was gladiators. Gladiators back in the day, man.
The Chiefs were the tougher team.
But in my day, leg whip in the end zone.
He smacked Mahomes right in his face.
Yeah, he should have been ejected. But I mean,
that's
the style of football that I grew up watching. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think the Chiefs had that kind of game in them. Not that they weren't tough enough. Not that they weren't what's the word I want to use? Animalistic enough. Not that they weren't fighters, but it all goes back to the pregame shenanigans, and they just turned it up a notch. And they
you know what it go back to, Nick? A lot of people ain't looking at it. Nobody else run that training camp like Andy Reid up there in St. Joe. Everybody got their training camp at their stadium and this and this. They far away in that, and that desert-like heat out there training
in pads.
In the heat, in pads.
4 days of pads.
With the helmet on now, let you know, this helmet, you got the steam coming from it. Yeah. With the helmet on, and they still that bond, like they said. But us being up there in training camp and traveling on the road, and we all know how to bond together in training camp and traveling on the word. It's just like we up in training camp. We just by ourselves. It's just us versus them.
Yep.
It's us versus them, and they took care of it. And like you go back to that trade. The Bills gave that Chiefs jumped all the way from 27 up to take Patrick Mahomes. It's like, and then their GM got fired after that, right? You know,
you got fired for that trade. You got fired for doing that trade.
Wait. The GM for the Bills got fired for that trade?
Yes, sir. He got canned for making that trade. And he made it sound like they'd stolen it from the Chiefs. I mean, this trade should have been the 27th overall pick, the 3rd or 5th, 2018 and 2019 first round pick. That's what it should have been at a minimum.
This is the blueprint now for how not to get fired. Yeah, because anymore, if you want to move up, you'll see this year with all those quarterbacks at the top of this year's draft. You might see. I don't know if anybody at the top
last year
is really going to do it, right? Because the price that it costs. Because you got to figure the top 3 are going to be quarterbacks. You got New England, Washington, and Chicago. Unless Chicago does something out of it. But the bottom line is you'll never see a move like 27 to 10 for that little in return. Now, again, they get Josh Allen in the next draft. They're fine. It
worked out for them. Nobody knew that Mahomes was going to be this good.
It was certainly a bold move when a bold move was needed. And it's paid off like no other. I mean, that'll never happen again.
And that trade was consummated 5 days before the draft. They'd already worked it out, and everybody seemed fine with it. And I'm just, it's like what's that cartoon character or that dog that laughs at That's kind of what.
I think talking about.
I can't think of it. Anyway, I mean, it's just like that, and it's just again, I thought John Dorsey was a terrible general manager. I thought he didn't know crap about the salary cap. He didn't know how to negotiate contracts. He signed guys when it was too late. Eric Berry, Justin Houston.
Really good scout.
2 years of cap. He was a good scout. He was a terrible general manager. Right. That's why he's not been a general manager since. Right. I mean, he was in Cleveland, but it didn't work out very long.
So he's a good scout for talent. But
he's a good scout for talent.
Yeah.
But, and then the hero, we talk about this too. Brett Veach, talked a couple of times yesterday, once in front of the media, and I think with Channel 41. And, the guy he said, hey, it's our job to try and find, talent for Patrick Mahomes and to build around him. And I decided that I needed to put some resources on defense. And he signed Tranquil. He signed Amenahue. He signed Edwards. He continues to draft cornerbacks and plug gems. Now, we don't know what Nick Jones is going to be. Give him an offseason healthy. We'll see what he turns into. But Shamari Connor, we didn't see that coming. Joshua Williams, we didn't see that coming. Watson, we didn't see that coming. Even Brian Cook, and we didn't see that coming. And, he had faith in his – now we know. He can draft secondary guys. He can draft pass rushers and linebackers. He can draft offensive linemen. He can draft wide receivers to some degree. He's had some failures. He can certainly be part of the process that gets a quarterback.
Well, how about the linemen?
And the linemen, Creed Humphrey,
Trey
Smith. You got two all pros.
What's the other guy named?
Taylor played good. Taylor played good.
I'm talking about
Donovan Smith was a mauler last night.
The Donovan.
We talking about Morris?
Yeah.
Morris going to be good. Watch.
Morris is going to be good. He just needs work on his footwork and his upper body strength.
Yeah,
he'll be fine. Joe Thuney has had the best year of his career. I mean, it's not even close. He's had the best year of his career. I mean, that's a free agent that he signed. He paid 75, 80 million to.
Right.
And he takes his chances. He takes his risks. Now he knows what he had. They're going to the Super Bowl with a not all that great wide receiver crew. And now he knows, okay, this is what I got to spend my money on next year. T. Higgins already said, I'm not playing on the franchise tag in Cincinnati, so don't bother tagging me. You don't think if I'm a free agent wide receiver, when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year with this crew, what in your right mind, if you ever want to get a ring in your life, like if I'm Mike Evans from the Bucs, I'm 31, 32 years old. Hey, Andy, what's it going to take? I want to be on this team. Patrick, what's it going to take? I want to be on your team. If I'm T. Higgins, okay, Patrick, I will work my tail off. I want to play for you. There could be, a couple of free agents in San Diego available. You've got if this doesn't convince these wide receivers, I want Brown too. If this doesn't convince those free agent wide receivers,
that's another MVS.
If they want the bling,
we're going to hijack the show now. Here we go.
I'm sorry. If this doesn't do it, nothing will. So the Chiefs will have a revamped wide receiver room, probably a revamped tight end room, probably get another running back would be my guess. They're going to put some resources on the offense, and they're going to decide what to do at left tackle, whether it's Morris or they signed Smith for another year. I thought Smith has been terrific the last 3 playoff games. A couple penalties here and there, but for the most part, they got away with a great hold in the Buffalo Bills game. That was just so well disguised and hidden that I thought that was terrific.
Veteran savvy, Nick.
I'm gonna say that the Chiefs must go wide receiver. The Chiefs must go wide receiver.
Wide receiver, tight end, and running back would be my first 4 picks.
I say trade a first round pick. Go get Cal Pitts.
It'll be very interesting to see if they go wide receiver. If the right guy falls to them, yes, because it seems like there's a ton available. But going back to this team, it's just it's impressed me that they've really embraced this style of play, right?
How about Jerry Rice Jr.?
Yeah,
yep.
Go play for the Chiefs.
I think he goes by Brendan.
Brandon Rice. Yeah.
No, I know.
But no, this team, I mean, they really embraced this being a gritty, bare knuckles type team. And then they've got the assassin at quarterback. And it's just like, this is how this team has to win. Now, next year might be completely different. If if you're down to Chris Jones, if you're down to L'Jarius Sneed, and now you've picked up, receivers in the draft, or you signed a veteran free agent. So, yeah, but right now it's been impressive because you didn't think it was going that way. It seemed like they were going to try to be stubborn and we're going to keep throwing it downfield when it's not there. But it's beautiful to watch, really. I mean, this is like almost not quite Marty ball, but sort of Marty if he had a quarterback.
It's Marty if he had a quarterback. You're right. That's exactly what this is. And listen, I loved Marty, man. He was one of the best, if not the best, regular season football coach for 3 franchises, but he just didn't understand the difference of the postseason. Andy understands the difference. I had this conversation with Herm Edwards when he was the coach of the Chiefs, and I said, in the regular season, it's the coaches that win football games, but in the postseason, it's the individuals that have to step up and make plays. And he agreed with me. And I'm saying that to him as the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, because in the postseason, in a one and done, how well do your superstars perform? Or how well does a glue guy like a Drew Tranquil come in and get 8 solo tackles? How does Snead play? How does McDuffie play? How does Chris Jones play? How does Patrick play? You got to have the playmakers, and the Chiefs made play after play after play, individually and collectively to some degree, where the Ravens, the Bills, and the Dolphins didn't. Because the Chiefs had better athletes on the field, they had better players on the field, they were better coached, and the moment wasn't too big. And the moment was too big for Allen. It was too big for Tua. It was too big for Jackson. And it's going to be too big for Purdy when it's all said and done. But again,
Go ahead, Nick.
No, I'm good.
No, I was thinking about something. Remember the lights went off in the Super Bowl against the 49ers and
yeah. Here we go.
Now we know who turned the lights off.
That's right.
It was the Baltimore Ravens because they did into their stadium yesterday to bring out Terrell Suggs, to bring out Ray Lewis. But all that doesn't matter because Patrick Mahomes won the game, and now we off to the Super Bowl. But again, guys, all the takes was great. Loving to see our team here, but I want to know what's going to be playoff Chiefs who for Lou coming up on Wednesday.
Give us a clue.
It's going to be a good one. It'll knock your socks off.
Nice.
I'm telling you, get ready. I'm coming up with stuff as we speak.
Hey, Sinclair says this real quick. He says Kalafis looks like a great player
Yeah,
too.
we
So
didn't mention
basically,
George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that boy got busy. Him and
No sophomore slump.
no way. So do we keep CJ or do we go ahead and sign Snead?
Training with Tomahawk Lee pays off.
Yeah, it does.
I agree.
Thomas should be an assistant defensive line coach. He did a lot of work. Yeah, Snead is number one priority for Kansas City. Tranquil's number two. And I think they make a run at Jones if he fires the Katz brothers. But before we end the show, I need to make a shout out to Kareem. He sent me a message. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or instant message about the old Warpaint days and the Out of Bounds crew. And he said to me how much living in Utah had meant for what we did then to bring him Chiefs news. And he said he loved the old guys. So I am working on it. Mike Ring and Mike Nugent, if you're listening, I'm going to be calling you. We will have a back in time episode with my old Out of Bounds podcast crew at some point, I promise you, Kareem, and I will dedicate that show to you because you were the kind of fans that we had that kept Warpaint alive for 13 years, and it is always dear in my heart. So I'm doing this for you, buddy.
So when you say Out of Bounds, Nick, was it kind of a dark show? Was it a blue show?
No, we came up with this idea to do this podcast, and we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, the first year, it would take us 8 hours to produce the show. Like we would record it, and then Mike would edit it, and I breathe heavy in the microphones, and he's cutting that out, or we make a mistake and we go back. So, we found this podcasting site. I think it was Lipson or Lisbon or something like that. And about a year and a half in, I get a call from one of the head honchos, and he goes, "Do you realize you have the #1 sports podcast on our network?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" We had upwards of 50, 60,000 downloads per show. And we had these graphics. We were worldwide. And I'm like, this was before the video element. This was just all audio. And for whatever reason, it took off, and we ran it for a really long time. I think 5 or 6 years. And we had a blast doing it. So that was part of the reason why Warpaint Illustrated was so successful, because we had players that wanted to come on. The former mayor of Kansas City used to come on all the time. We'd go to bars and restaurants and we'd record the show. We'd get free food by throwing out some shout outs to the places that we went to. And we just had a good old time. And this show reminds me of that too, kind of different players and different people that, have the same passion. We're all crazy enthusiasts for the Chiefs, Kansas City sports in general. And so I need to say this. I'm so grateful for the three of you, of what you brought to my life. The fact that you climbed on board of this crazy idea for me to get back into this even crazier entity business. It's a grind. We're still trying to get subscribers. We're trying to build our base, but because of you three guys, man, we're moving up the ladder. We're getting there. And a year from now, we're going to look back and say, that was a tough year, but you know what? We got through it, and we're going to do more things in the off season. So I just want you to know that I appreciate you guys and I love you guys and being sappy and sentimental. But
it's getting dusty in here.
Come on, man.
It's getting pretty wicked in here. It's getting pretty wicked in here, man.
Look at it. We mixed the right group together. And
I'm
got
like
to
Chris Jones, man. In the moment, man. Tears before the game.
That's why it's love. All love.
We got Lou over here. Lou comes in with the jokes, and you got Andre with the bad takes, and you got me.
Did he just throw a shot again, bro? You've been jabbing me all game, bro. He's been jabbing me all show, bro. I'm letting it slide.
The distinguished gentleman from Missouri that loves Patrick, and loves Patrick some more.
He loves no. It ain't Patrick. It's Rice.
Yeah,
the rice. His foot's all in that rice.
Love it.
Right, all in that rice. I love it.
Thank you, Nick, for choosing us to put us all together. Hey. I can't wait to see what the year brings, because this year it brought a lot of joy. This is something I love doing with the guys, and I didn't see it to take it this far. Now we in the newspapers. Now we on websites. Now we in other stuff. It's slowly climbing, and I thank for every opportunity. I think
slow and easy.
That's
You
right.
know, even though Dre been some pain sometime, you know.
I'm gonna still be a pain, sir. I'm gonna still be a pain, sir.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
We got to bring your significant other on as a special guest.
Yeah, I want to hear that conversation again.
That was priceless to me, man.
Man, listen. Yeah, it sure will be. It sure will be.
Now, you might be out in the car while she's on, but no problem.
This lady here is a titan, man.
Anybody who's married, thank God you have a man cave. That's all I can say.
I'm trying to tell you, guys. We need our man caves, guys.
We need our space.
We need a man cave. There it is.
Yes. All right, guys.
Let's go and get to the sponsor before we close out.
All right. Let's first talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. You're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, someone who's going to walk you through the process of buying or selling a home. There's no other man to do it than Eric Haynes, 816-729-3785. Give him a call today or email him at esellskc@gmail.com. And Mr. Dave Purdy, proud sponsor.
Hello.
I apologize. Hello. And Mr. Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. We want to make sure that we use Dave for all of our mortgage needs. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831. He'll walk you through the process from beginning to end. Make sure he finds the right rate, the right one that fits the budget, the right plan, whether you're 1099 or W-2, it makes no difference. He's got a loan for you. You need someone that you can believe in. So we got your real estate covered. We got your mortgage covered. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is very good.
All right, listen, guys. Shout out to Kareem. You know, everybody know Kareem watched a lot of wrestling too. That's why when you said war paint, Kareem know what I'm talking about when I say war games. All right, you know what's going on. So I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Kareem St. Clair. Up to no good what's going on. Let's see here. Trihan, you know, she always be coming with some epic comments.
She's got her game face on, man. I'm
trying to tell you, man, and she gives to 100. Let me see who else we got here, guys. Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, guys, keep on showing the love, guys. Keep on showing the love. Keep it coming.
Shout out to the love of Coach Dre for chewing them straight this morning before the show. That was a great epic. So
yeah, same thing with the Mrs. of bow tie.
Gotta press record when this stuff's going on.
Yeah, gotta press record.
It caught me off guard, man. It caught me off guard. I was like, what?
Caught you off guard.
Chiefs Kingdom, guys. Remember
all good.
That's right.
All good. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this week. We'll be back on Wednesday. We will update you on Wednesday. It's kind of what our schedule is going to be for Super Bowl week. We're going to be your one-stop shop. We will keep you updated. We'll make sure that we get all the news out there. The Chiefs having meetings and video today. They'll be off Tuesday, Wednesday. Players will begin practice on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They will depart Sunday for Las Vegas. They will arrive, I believe, they will be the first team to arrive on Sunday afternoon. And then Monday is the big extravaganza in Las Vegas, kind of the big show, and then press row throughout the rest of the week. And, of course, Super Bowl 58. In honor of the late, great Mr. Derek Thomas, the Chiefs will be playing in Super Bowl 58, and they will pay homage to the greatest, one of the greatest Chiefs, Mount Rushmore individuals of all time, in Derek Thomas. So there it is. Peace out, guys. Talk soon.
All right.
Peace.